welcome back to my channel. So for my video today, I will be telling you guys a story time. It's about the day I found out I was pregnant, and I was 16 years old, and it was just really uncomfortable, scary, and I basically had to tell my mom, my little sister, and my little brother all at the same time, and it was just not fun. So it basically started in 2015. I was 16 years old, and I forgot if it was April or May. I don't remember, to be honest. Anyway, I was getting ready for school one time, and I don't really eat breakfast in the morning. I know that's really bad and unhealthy, but that was just who I was. And one morning I was getting ready for school, and I just wanted to throw up. So I threw up. Everybody in my house was asleep, so they didn't hear me, thank God. But I threw up, and it was like yellow. Yeah, I didn't know what it was. It was like yellow, but then I searched it up on Google because I was like scared. Because that never happened to me before. So I searched it, and it's basically stomach acid, because if you don't have anything in your stomach and you throw up, it'll just throw up your stomach acid. Yeah. And then like a couple days later, I forgot about that, and then I threw it up again, like my stomach acid. And I was like, okay, so that's not good. And then later on in that day, I started like peeing weird. It sounds weird, but I had a urinary tract infection, but I didn't know this at first. Like, I could not pee, and I had to pee every like 10 minutes. Like, urinary tract infections is a really sucky infection because your bladder feels really full, but like every time you go pee, it's like a little bit or nothing ever comes out, and it burns. So I was like, okay, this is new, and it hurts, and I'm uncomfortable, and I can't pee. What's going on with my body? So I was like really freaking out, and I had my mom pick me up from school, and I went home, and I told my mom what was happening. I was just telling her that I was peeing weird, and I don't know why. I didn't tell her that I was throwing up, just because it happened only like 2 times, and I didn't want her to think I was pregnant, basically. So I told her that I wanted to go to the hospital because I could not pee, and I felt really uncomfortable. So my boyfriend came over that day because my mom made tamales for my brother because it was going to be his birthday. I remember that. So my boyfriend came over to eat tamales with my family, and my mom, my dad, my mom's boyfriend, my little sister, my brother, we were all there. Thank God my older sister wasn't there because she is very protective over me, and yeah. So basically, we're all eating, and I feel very uncomfortable because of my urinary tract infection. And so I'm like, basically like, Mom, I want to go to the hospital. And I'm like always telling her I feel uncomfortable. I can't even eat. I feel like a little nauseated. So then my mom tells me, okay, I'm going to take you to urgent care. So urgent care is kind of like the ER, but they're only open a certain amount of hours. So I was getting ready for urgent care, and my boyfriend went home already. My little sister, my little brother wanted to come with my mom and me because they're chismosos. But they just basically wanted to know what was wrong with me. So we all went in a car, and we drove to urgent care. So on our way to urgent care, you know, I was pretty relaxed. I wasn't scared. I didn't think I was pregnant. That was like the last thing on my mind. I was scared that I got like an infection like chlamydia or something. So I thought I had that. And I thought I was going to be really sick or whatever. So we get to urgent care, and they are just about to close. So we are like, I'm basically their last client. So we get in, and there's one person in front of us with their kid who's sick. And so we're just waiting, and then they have me pee in a cup, which is really hard when you have a urinary tract infection. So once I gave them my pee, I waited, and then they called me in. So we went in, they put us in a waiting room where a doctor will come and talk to me about what's going on with my body. So we're just there, we're all chilling, laughing. I feel a little discomfort because of my UTI, urinary tract infection. So we're just waiting. All of a sudden, it got really quiet, and I hear the nurse say, "Oh my God." Like, it kind of scared me because she was like so scared, so surprised. And I was like, oh my God, what's wrong with me? I don't know. I felt like it had to do with my pee. My sister was like laughing, and she was like, oh my God, what's wrong with you? And then like 10 minutes later, the doctor walks in, and she tells me, okay, so I need to talk to Lene alone. Can your mom and your brother and sister go outside and wait? And so my mom's like, yeah, and she takes my siblings with her, and she waits outside. And I'm sitting there with the doctor, and I'm like kind of freaking out because of the nurse. She goes, so what's wrong with you again? And I say like, oh, I've been peeing weird, and it's been really uncomfortable. And she goes, have you been throwing up? And I tell her that I've been feeling nauseated. I only threw up like twice. And she was looking at me like, I know what you have. But I didn't say like what. And I was like, yeah. So that's basically it. And she goes, okay. So she types it all in her computer. And she's like, have you been sexually active? And for me, I didn't tell anyone that I was. I don't tell my family or my doctors like that personal, because I just get so uncomfortable and I just hate talking about it. But you do have to tell your doctor. I know that now. Anyway, because it made me uncomfortable back then, I told her no. And she was like, like, she looks at me like that, and I'm like, yes. And she's like, yes, because you're pregnant. And I'm like, one more time? She goes, yeah, you're pregnant. And I was like, how do you know? And then she said, well, when we take your pee, we run like a bunch of tests, and pregnancy's one of them, and out of all the tests, you passed positive for pregnancy. And I was just like, whoa. I didn't know what to say. I was basically in shock because I've been denying it. When I read like when you feel nauseated and you throw up yellow, it's because you're pregnant. But I was like, no. So like finally it hit me that like, yeah, you are pregnant, stupid. So it hit me, and I was just like, is she gonna tell my mom? Do I run? Do I hide? Can I leave? Ha ha ha, was this a joke? So like so many things were going through my head, and she was like, okay, are you gonna tell your mom, or should I tell her, or what do you want to do? And I was like, let's not tell her. I'll tell her a different time. So she basically looked at me and she was like, I can't tell you what to do, but I am going to say that it's good to have your mom there. It's good to have your mom knowing what's wrong with you. So she was just like, tell your mom. So I was like, okay, fine, I'll tell her. Then she walks out, gets my mom. My mom comes in with my brother, with my sister. And I'm like, I have to tell like half my family that I'm pregnant. Like, it's hard telling my mom already, and now I have to tell my little brother, my little sister. She's probably going to say, like, see, don't be like your older sister. So it was definitely a lot of pressure, and I just started crying because I just feel like I was a disappointment. I was a bad role model to my brother and my sister. So I was crying, and my mom was scared because she was like, oh my god, what's wrong? And I told her I'm pregnant. And my mom didn't really say anything. She was shocked. And then thankfully my little brother was like, what? And my sister was like, oh my gosh. That kind of helped break my mom from being silent, because she was like, shut up. And she was like, oh my god, and let me think about this. And she was like, okay, so tell me why the doctor thinks that. And I told her, like, they took a pregnancy test with my pee and it came out positive, and so she's saying that I'm pregnant and that this isn't the only sign that I've been throwing up in the morning. I just didn't know. And she was like, oh my god, Lene. I can tell she was like very disappointed at me, and I did feel really bad. Then my mom started talking and said, like, well, what are you going to do? A baby's a lot of work, Lene. If you're going to keep it, you know, you got to do this. We got to do this. You got to go to a doctor, get checked. You need to do, what have you been taking? Have you been eating? What have you been eating? So she started, like, coming at me. So a lot was going through my head. And then on top of that, I'm like, oh my god, I'm pregnant. And then on top of that, I'm like, oh my god, the dad doesn't even know. So I was just like going through a lot, and I tried not to cry, but I think I was crying more. And so the doctor came back in. She was like, so here's your papers to go home. So we all drove back home. Alright, you guys, so that is my story time about the time I found out I was pregnant. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to go like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye!